What's up, YouTube? It's Joe Catchpolia sitting on the couch making some money investing in fractional real estate online. And today it's actually fractional mortgages. I just wanted to give you another quick update on my ground floor investing. I just did one not too long ago and, mentioned I had only had one loan pay off and it seemed like it was kind of a fluke because it was so early. I wasn't really expecting to have a lot of, you know, true return data until about a year from now. And I think I said that it was really only 2 or 3 days ago. So as it so happens, I've had three more loans pay off in the last couple of days. And so I just wanted to, mention that one of the things, a couple things about it. One, by getting a return of that initial capital and, a small profit, because it's really only net earnings of $12 so far, but it's because it's a really short period of time. Um, it let me put that money back to work. And so I think with the last time I did a video on here, I had 58 loans. And so I got to buy, I spread that out over all the available pieces. So I got another, 13 loans, and just obviously not a whole bunch of each one. But one of the things that I've realized, I do plan to continue to put more money on here. But even if you just put a lump sum on there and then just as loans pay off, buy a bunch of pieces of whatever loans are available. I mean, I've gotten up to 71 now with only, I mean, it's been right around 3 months that I've been investing on here. And so I could imagine, over the course of a year, at least tripling that, right? Getting to where you've got piece of over 200 different loans. If, depending on the rate that you get repaid at and what loans are available to reallocate into at the time. Um, I'm not, I don't know. That's me doing my rough gorilla math in my head, and so we'll have to see if that's how it works out. But that's one of the things that I really like about this site is that I'm getting a lot of diversification, right? Like I have no one loan that that if and I keep saying loan, but these are entities that own the loan, and I'm getting a piece of the entity. I'm using that as shorthand. But in any case, I think some of my biggest investments in these are, under $500. But I've got a whole bunch of these now that are just 20 or $50, 40. A lot of my early ones, I was basically putting $5,000 in at a time and dividing it by whatever there was on there. So some of those are a lot closer to 500. But you can see, I have a lot of little pieces of a bunch of different loans, which is, it's really spreading out my risk, and that's one of the things I like the most about this site. But I just want to real quick give you, point out what happened with these ones that repaid. So it was just four. So there was that one that happened initially that was only, it was outstanding for 0.3 months, and so I don't know what happened with that, but obviously it got paid off, and so made very tiny amount of money because it was only charging interest for 0.3 months. But these other three all paid off. They were supposed to be 15-month terms, and they all paid off in less, just over 2 months. Um, they're all in different locations. I couldn't find anything that they had in common. And so I'm starting to be curious if I'll get a lot that will pay off relatively quickly. And if the 15-month term is just that's the longest they can take. But these are people that are flipping properties or building. There are some of them is new construction, but most of them appear to be flips. And so, maybe a lot of them pay off quicker. Maybe depending on how quickly they do the work and how quickly they turn around and sell it. But in any case, there's so now I've gone from just the one to three more. All of them, paid off in full with their interest that they were owed. And so like I said, it didn't turn into a ton of money, because that loan wasn't outstanding very long, and I only had $1,000 in there. But in the actual rate on that, and I couldn't really figure out what happened here, why the actual rate ended up, like this shows expected rate, actual rate, and they're all the same, 11, 11, 11 and a half. But when it shows the blended rate here, it's not. And I think I don't really understand how their math worked out on that. But I'm okay with it. I think that sometimes you'll just have these little discrepancies, depending on your days and whatnot. But so far so good. That's one of the reasons why on this platform I'm spending a lot less time doing due diligence on each individual property. Because like I said early in the process, one, the lender, or ground floor is actually doing their due diligence and then scoring everything and then giving you a rate based on that score. And so that gives me just a little more confidence than a lot of the other sites that I'm looking at, where there's not somebody who's really looking at that investment as an investment. At least some of the other sites, Lofty in particular, that I talk about a lot. They'll put any property on there that somebody wants to, and so and those are ones that I'm planning to hold much longer most of the time, and so I do a lot more due diligence there. Here, I don't know that doing none is the appropriate amount, but I'm very comfortable just buying a piece of every single one that's up and knowing that the most I'm going to lose is $500 if one fails, and if for some reason there were a ton of failures, obviously I could get hurt, and so that's something that you have to think about. That even with really wide diversification, if the whole industry went down, then you could have a problem. But it is something that I'm comfortable with that risk, and so, like I said, I'll be putting more of my money on here. But I just wanted to share. It's not working exactly how I thought. I thought most of these wouldn't pay back for a lot longer, and we'll have to see over time. As next time I get another batch. I'm not going to do a video every time one pays off, but if a month from now I have 4 or 5 more, I'll give you that update. Obviously, if they have any new features, or if I figure out any way that I could be using the site a little smarter, I'll share that with you as well. That's really all I want to do today. There is a link in the description below where you can get some free money by signing up on here, making an investment. I did initially get $50 when I joined. I'm still waiting for another $200 bonus based on how much money I put in. I think that is still available, but you'll have to look when you log in, because it doesn't tell me that anymore, because it was like during my initial buy-in period. But so that'll be in the description. And then I'll also have a link to my other ground floor videos in case you haven't watched, how to use the investment wizard, or how to use, just the platform in general. In any case, that's all that I've figured out so far. So until next time, I am just going to keep making mistakes so that you don't have to.